welcome back to Central Ontario. She's warming up today. It's about -5, so that's kind of balmy if you're here in Canada. I hear a lot of you folks want to see if that kinetic wood splitter can split elm. Let's go grab the unit, grab our chainsaw, and let's head out and see what she can do. Cheers. Okay, so we're going to cut up a little elm today. For those of you, if you split a lot of logs and you're pretty used to it, or you've used log splitters a lot in your life, you know that you're splitting maple or ash. Some of those hardwoods are a lot easier to split. I've only used 4 different log splitters in my life, and every single one of them has a problem with elm. Elm is just kind of a nasty, stringy wood, and no matter how hard you try to split it, you end up with all these strings coming out, and you got to rip it apart. Sometimes you got to use a hatchet. So we're going to grab the Kinetic today. We're going to head out. We're going to see how she performs with the elm. I'm going to get all the equipment set up. While we're out there, for those of you that aren't in Ontario, we have a nasty disease called the Dutch elm disease here, and it's been killing off the elm trees for years. And so we've got a lot of standing wood down the concession at a neighbor's place. That's where we're going to head over to. But luckily, while we were dropping the timbers, we were able to actually uncover some of the larvae that's causing the disease. So our good neighbor Bob, who you know, is going to tell you a little bit about the disease and show you what it looks like while I get all the equipment done. So stick around, have a watch, and when you come back, we'll be ready to split.
Well, here you can see holes in the bark where the beetles have entered the elm tree, and then they'll lay their eggs under the bark. And here you can see there's different stages of larvae. You have very small ones through here that probably have hatched most recently, and then you've got the larger beetles.
Okay, and where do they reside in here? They're below the bark?
They just live under the bark, and the larva will go through a change and become a beetle, and the elm bark beetle then carries the disease, Dutch elm disease fungus, into the elm tree, and it eventually kills it.
Okay, well thanks Bob, I appreciate you explaining that. Hope you found that little bit on the Dutch elm disease interesting. Got the Kinetic set up, we're all set to go. As you know, so far we've used this Kinetic on maple, both green maple as well as some seasoned maple. We've used it on bass. I thought I'd take the opportunity today. We've got a piece of cherry as well, a couple of pieces of elm, and a few pieces of yellow birch. So that'll give us a little variety. We'll see how she works. As you guys know, if you're splitting wood and you've got elm on the property, elm is one tough, stringy wood, and every log splitter I've used always has a tough time getting through it. So we'll see how the old Kinetic does on all of them. Let's fire it up and get at it. did really well. I was pretty shocked. A couple of those bigger pieces of elm, it took a couple of punches to get through, but she punched right through. Just had to peel her back, flip it over, punch it again. And as stringy as it was, it got through almost everything. Funny thing, I brought a hatchet because I thought I'd have to be hacking it off the wedge, but she went through it all. Same with the yellow birch. Really nice job, this kinetic. Let me clean it up. Let's get back together. Well, I was actually pretty impressed by this unit. I got to tell you, the yellow birch, a little bit stringy, but not bad. The cherry, didn't expect anything worse. It went through pretty easily. Cherry's a pretty hard wood. It's not too stringy. But this elm, this is terrible elm, and as you can see above me, it is really stringy stuff. But she punched through. Didn't have to take it off the wedge. Didn't need a big hammer or anything. It took it off. One thing I will say, though, with your ram, the grease in here has got to be pretty cold, because you'll see sometimes the ram doesn't go all the way back. It takes a little bit to get back in. And I think it's because it's so cold outside. It's about -8 right now, which means I probably need a jacket. But I have a feeling because all the grease is a little bit frosty, it's taking its time getting back, but she still punches out hard, worked great in the cold, and I'm really pleased with the results on this wood. So anyways, for all of you folks who were asking about the elm, now you know how it works. I really appreciate you sticking around. If you like the channel, please click subscribe, hit the like button, and if you want to know when I'm posting videos, just click that little bell. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful week with your families. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Are we going?
Just make sure it's going. I don't want to waste it.
You guys know any wood splitter is going to have a tough time with elm, but we'll see how this big boy works. Okay, take two. Hope you found the little bit on that, as well as some basswood. But I've got a piece of cherry, a couple of pieces of elm, and a few pieces of white birch. What's that, guys? No, yellow birch?
Yellow birch.
A few pieces. And then we've got some yellow birch, which is also a little tough. So hopefully this guy will work. So as we mentioned, okay, last take.